It's a new week and more excitement here in the Huddle with Coach Ruffin. We're glad to have you with us as Miles takes on Benedict in their homecoming, looking to go 5-1. Hi, I'm A.A. Moore, and we're glad to have you here. Another week, more exciting Golden Bears football, and we're going to break down all the highlights in just a moment. But first, let's bring in our head coach, the coach of the Golden Bears, Mr. Reginald Ruffin. And Coach, glad to have you with us, but I know this game was a tougher game maybe than you anticipated.
Well, you know, it's their homecoming. You know, I always said we're going to get their best shot. So they wasn't an 0-4 football team. We had that conversation, and they were a real good football team. And, you know, we had to battle back and win that game on the last possession.
Miles having to take on Benedict, a team that it had not seen in a couple of years, but this Benedict team, again, 0-4 coming in. It was a non-conference game for the Tigers, but still a lot at stake for both teams as they got ready to battle in Columbia, South Carolina. When we come back, we'll have the first half highlights. You're in the Huddle with Coach Ruffin.
So Darren, you're with the UPS store?
Yeah, we actually printed these invites.
Wow, I thought you guys just did shipping.
No, we do printing, packing, shredding, notarizing, mailboxing, faxing, binding, taping, laminating, copying, consulting, creating, designing, returning, and of course shipping.
Cool.
Nice costume.
It's my work uniform. Where are you going?
Go to the UPS store for everything your small business needs. And of course, shipping.
In the Huddle with Coach Ruffin is brought to you in part by Andrews Sports Medicine, ADT, the UPS Store, TNT Fireworks, and the Maxwell Tillman Law Firm.
Back here in the Huddle with Coach Ruffin, and before we get to the first half highlights, Coach, again, you had come off a tough game against Clark Atlanta where you had to come back late against a winless team. Another winless team here in Benedict. I know it's easy to say, hey, Miles should go in and beat them rather easily, but you have to make sure your guys don't buy into that.
Well, you know, anytime, you know, teams are 0-4, 0-5, you know, you don't ever want to play down on an opponent. So the thing is, our kids got to understand we have to come to work. We got to be fundamentally sound. We can't make the mistakes that we make, especially in hostile territory. And it'll stay homecoming, you know, a lot of festivity going on, fans and everybody come back to that game. So our guys had to understand, you know, we got to do our assignment, do our job. And, you know, you can see that during the course of the game. We kind of got thrown off a little bit, especially with offense. We was anticipating of Justin Ruiz playing, and he ended up getting sick and couldn't travel. So we kind of had to shuffle around in the running backs with Padarius along with Streeter and Dante. So, you know, those guys did the best they could, but we knew we needed Justin to really help us get the running game going.
And before we get to these highlights as well, you've been juggling quarterbacks as well. You made a decision to go with Lajon Cordier to start this ball game. Why did you go with him?
Well, I went with Lajon. He had the best week of practice, and you know, and that's what we're asking him to do. And you know, and at the time, you know, he did a good job of guiding the offense during the game. But then he had some hiccups, and you know, we got a 2-quarterback system. You know, we just kind of shuffled the next guy in, which is Daniel. He's been in our program. He knows what's going on. So we need to get Daniel settled down to make the plays, make the throws, and not think a lot. And I think once he got comfortable a little bit and not get rattled, I think he does a great job.
Well, Miles, again, looking to go 5-1. Benedict is the opponent, and Lajon Cordier is at the controls. Let's go to the first half highlights. Again, it's homecoming for Benedict College. They come in 0-4. It's a non-conference game for them, but a conference game for Miles. Cordier is at the controls. He's flushed out of the pocket, but he takes off and picks up 7.
Yeah, you know, just flushed him out the pocket, but he can't just run it to the guy like that. We have to save our quarterback.
Well, Miles facing a 4th and 2 on the opening series, and it's Cordier again. Looks like a design run, but he's unable to get the first down.
Yeah, you know, he just went the wrong way. I think the blocking was designed for him to go left. He went right.
Well, Miles' defense holds Benedict on its first series, gets the ball back, and it's going to be Wade Streeter. He dances here for 6 yards.
Yeah, good job by the O-line, you know, open up holes, and Wade doing what he's always been doing this year.
We've seen this in the last couple of games. It's DeAndre Harvey who's going to get out in the pass pattern. He picks up 9 yards.
Great job, DeAndre. You know, he's a sure hand guy. And, you know, he's been there with Tinch, and those guys complement each other well.
Next up here in the passing game, it'll be Anthony Robinson. He gets 6. It's another chance to move the sticks, although he comes up a little short there. Good catch for Robinson.
Great job, Lee Anthony. Sure hands, just where he's supposed to be.
And here's Streeter again. Gets to the next level, spins, makes a couple of moves, picks up 18.
Yeah, great job, Streeter. No tough running. Great job by the O-line, open up those holes.
Miles has an opportunity to get on the scoreboard here. As Cordier rolls out, you have both Antonio Lee and Dominique McNeely, it looked like, back in the end zone, but neither one of them made the catch.
Well, somebody's got to make the catch, and it's got to be a problem because they're both in the same area. So somebody didn't run the right route.
Well, it'll lead to this field goal here from 29 yards for Jackson Spratlin, and Miles is up 3-0 with 3:50 left in the first.
Yeah, my man Jack from Dora, does a great job.
Miles' defense comes to play, pressure coming, and it's Marquell Shelton with the sack of Eric Phoenix.
Great job coverage-wise down the field, and great job by Marquell.
Well, Miles unable to move it. Benedict gets it back. It's Tyrone Turner who breaks a 32-yard run here on the option.
Yeah, Austin, he has one hand, his broken thumb, and he's tried to make that tackle, and kind of tough for him to wrap him up.
On the next play here, Phoenix drops back to pass, and he goes long. This time he completes it to Dreon Freeman, 28 yards. It was Rodney Coleman on the coverage, Coach.
Hey, great coverage. That was a great throw and great catch. And Rodney's got to continue fighting for the ball.
They had some trouble with the punting game. Jared Eubanks puts this one off the side of his foot. It only gets 11 yards. Miles will take over in the Benedict side of the field. And on the first play here, it's going to be Wade Streeter again. He picks up 13. He had 75 yards on 15 carries.
Just rushing, O-line doing a good job and just blocking.
Daniel Smith, who's now in at quarterback, he finds Montavious Tinch, and Tinch picks up 13.
Great job. Just great read and RPO, and good job by Daniel.
Now the drive looks like it stalls, but it doesn't. As Tinch gets free, Jay Fitch with the 10-yard touchdown pass out of the fake punt.
Yeah,
field goal formation.
Jay had a great game punting, but also a great game throwing a touchdown on his knee.
A lot of people question whether he was down, but in college football, you can make that play out of that formation. It turns into gold for the Golden Bears. It's 10-7 with 5:06 left. Here, another Eubanks punt, not very good, 31 yards, but Anthony Robinson said, hey, I can do something with it. He was one man away possibly from breaking it. He picks up 33 on the punt return.
Great protection. Those guys blocking downfield and just setting it up for Leanne.
There's 31 seconds left. Daniel Smith still in. It looks like Leonard Tyree gets behind the defense, but the ball doesn't get to him. It's picked off with 8 seconds left.
Underthrown, Daniel's got to make that throw. It's just a pocket throw, just throw it in the basket.
Well, it leads to a 10-7 halftime score. That's a slow walk there by you, Coach. You didn't look like you were real happy with what was going on at the end of the first half.
Yeah, just meditation. Just meditation for me, just making sure these guys understand that this is another half that we got to get ready to play. And so I just told our guys, it's 0-0. It's still their homecoming, but we're in hostile territory, 0-0. Let's come back out second half and play football.
So at 10-7, I'm sure a lot of teams or a lot of people did not believe that this would be the score at halftime. Miles, obviously one of the top offenses in the league and one of the top defenses as well, especially when it comes to stopping and run. But there were little things that Benedict was doing that was able to kind of keep Miles from being able to get in sync on offense.
Well, you think about it, they was off last week, had 2 weeks to kind of prepare and do everything they needed to do to correct their mistakes. And, for us, we didn't have a lot of preparation because we just played a tough ball game in Clark Atlanta and come back and just play another tough ball game. So, we just had, we had our work cut out for us. We knew that. Coach White's done an awesome job, there at Benedict. And even like I said, their record does not reflect their team, and they got some real good football players on that team.
Well, it's 10-7 at halftime, and we'll get to the second half highlights in a moment. But when we come back, we're going to sit down with the new defensive coordinator for Miles when we come back here on In the Huddle with Coach Ruffin.
So Darren, you're with the UPS store?
Yeah, we actually printed these invites.
Wow, I thought you guys just did shipping.
No, we do printing, packing, shredding, notarizing, mailboxing, faxing, binding, taping, laminating, copying, consulting, creating, designing, returning, and of course shipping.
Cool.
Nice costume.
It's my work uniform. Where are you going?
Go to the UPS Store for everything your small business needs. And of course, shipping.
In the Huddle with Coach Ruffin is brought to you in part by Andrews Sports Medicine, ADT, the UPS Store, TNT Fireworks, and the Maxwell Tillman Law Firm.
It's halftime here in the Huddle with Coach Ruffin, and we'll get to our second half highlights in just a moment. But first, we want to sit down and talk with the new defensive coordinator for the Golden Bears, Rashad Watson. He comes with quite a pedigree, and as you've seen throughout the season, a different look and a different imagination for this Golden Bears defense.
It's been good. I mean, it's a great program. Coach Ruffin got it going in the right direction. We got a whole bunch of really good players and kids that focus on their schoolwork and they work hard in practice.
You guys are pitch players. You guys are pitch players.
Yeah, so Coach Towns was my coach, and basically he believed in being aggressive. He believed in dictating what the offense does and not letting the offense dictate what they do to you. My personality is probably a lot of high call plays or high approach the game, and Coach Towns, man, he was like my father to me, and I think 100 or a couple of hundred of us can say that. So we call. I'm sure other people call plays probably like Coach Towns called them too. I wish I had this opportunity to be an assistant head before I became a head, because I'm really doing a lot of the same things that a head coach would do right now.
Right? No, it ain't what you want to do, but you're helping us. And you got to understand that. That's the big picture. You are helping us, and we need your help, and we appreciate your help.
But at the end of the day, the whole responsibility falls on Coach Ruffin really here, where I was a head coach, and it was tough. I mean, I was trying to build a new program, and I think I got it going in the right direction. I think I left it better than what I found it in. But the opportunity has been great here, and I've learned a lot. Still learning a lot, and I've worked my way up from a position coach to a special teams coordinator to a defensive coordinator and head coach, and here I am again being a defensive coordinator and assistant head coach. So it's been great. So I think when you involve every player, you get a chance to. When you involve every player pays more attention in meetings. They pay more attention in practice, because not only it's the linebackers are making the tackles, the corners are making the tackles, the safeties are making the tackles. They're blitzing. Everybody's involved in the whole scheme of the defense. So that was my whole thing. I mean, when I was a secondary guy, I wanted to be involved. And I think now, with the corners and the secondary being involved, along with the linebackers and D-line, it makes everybody pay more attention. It's more exciting. And it's fun to watch, because everybody, is waiting on the opportunity to get called so they can, go do their thing. Yeah, well, we're young, actually, but we're very talented. I think we can run with anybody. We've made some bad plays and but that's because we're young, But talent-wise, man, I'm just excited. I think we got a really good young group of guys who love learning, and they can fly. They can run to the ball. Well, these next couple of games that are coming up, Edward Ward is first. What I'm preaching to the team is that we're 4-0. We got to start 4-0 and win these next 4 games. We got to go undefeated the rest of the season. And each game is going to be a test. Each game is going to be a physical test. So it's going to be tough for us. And I think I want to see how well we compete at the latter part of the season.
Coach, you bring in Rashad Watson to run your defense this year. Why Coach Watson, and what have you liked about what he's done thus far?
Well, pedigree. You know, he's been a winner. You know, he's been in the league, the MIAA league, Missouri Southern as a defensive coordinator. You know, he's been a head coach. He's been in our conference. He played in the SIC, played in the SWAC as a collegiate football player, and just smart. The guys really gravitate. Coaching staff, the players. He kind of reminds me so much of me when it comes to defense, and just so, you know, X's and O's, fundamentals, you know, stand, start, alignment, assignment. He's just so technician and technique sound. So, you know, I needed that kind of guy to be a part of our staff, someone that loves to build and mold young men, and he fits that bill.
Well, Miles has put up big numbers on the defensive side of the footballs, especially when it comes to sacks. The Golden Bears at the top of the conference when it comes to sacking the quarterback, something that's been done here in quite some time. We'll see if they're able to keep up with it in the second half of the season. When we come back, we'll have the second half of this ball game. It's going to be a great ending. Make sure you stay with us here in the Huddle with Coach Ruffin.
So Darren, you're with the UPS store?
Yeah, we actually printed these invites.
Wow, I thought you guys just did shipping.
No, we do printing, packing, shredding, notarizing, mailboxing, faxing, binding, taping, laminating, copying, consulting, creating, designing, returning, and of course shipping.
Cool.
Nice costume.
It's my work uniform. Where are you going?
Go to the UPS store for everything your small business needs. And of course, shipping.
Back here in the Huddle with Coach Ruffin, more with the coach of the Golden Bears, Reginald Ruffin. And Coach, we're about to get ready to get into this second half. And for the second week in a row, you're taking on an Eastern Division team that is giving your team fits when it doesn't look like that should be happening. What is happening maybe on your team's spot that's kind of putting them into this spot and having to battle with a team that it looks like, at least on paper, that you're a little better than?
Well, we are our own worst enemy. You know, we talk about that, and you know, if you're not going to be fundamentally sound, you're not going to do the thing that we prepare and work for all week. You know, and you come in and kind of put your own flavor, own mix in the system. You know, it's going to be tough, and you know, we try to go back and correct, try to go back and reteach, and we're going to get everybody the best shot. And the thing that rattles me and gets to me so much is that, you know, offensively, you know, there's only one ball to go around. The guys get kind of frustrated when they're not either catching the ball or not being the playmakers. And with defense, it's just more of guys being out of position. You know, we rotating a few guys, but, you know, guys being out of position and the checks and the busted coverages. You know, it's a 6-ball game, and, you know, all of that should be in the past, but we're still making those same little mistakes that's kind of helping the other team, and the other team is kind of taking advantage of it.
So when you get ready to come out to start the second half, I understand you like to control the first 5 minutes, but what did you want to do maybe specifically in this first 5 minutes in hopes of getting your team back on track?
Well, we always say establish the first 5 minutes, but we also say we need a big turnover. We want our defense to go out when we have to kick that ball off, get a big turnover, score, or give our offense a chance to be in position to continue scoring, you know, and kind of put our opponent away. But, you know, anytime we go in and we're not having that success, you know, you kind of give that opponent momentum to come in and keep playing and keep fighting.
Well, it's 10-7 here as we get ready to start second half. Benedict looking to get back into the ball game, knowing they're just one play away from retaking the lead. Miles defensively going to do what it can to try to stop the Tigers from being able to get onto the scoreboard. Let's look at the second half highlights. Benedict with the ball to start the second half, and it's Nick Floyd. He beats Cameron Sneed to the sack, one of 6 for the Golden Bears on the afternoon.
Nick had a great game, especially a lot of tackle for loss and, you know, a lot of quarterback pressure, a lot of quarterback sack.
Forces a punt, and this is not necessarily the best way you want to field a punt, but Anthony Robinson reaches over his shoulder and gets the grab, picks up 18, and changes the field position.
Yeah, changed the field position, but I think we got a block in the back, and that was tough for us.
Well, LeJean Cordier comes back out, and he's hit. He gets sacked, loses 8, and you got to make a change at quarterback.
Yeah, you know, he just didn't make the right read, and he's got to just get rid of that ball. It's quick.
Daniel Smith is back in, and he's looking for Dominique McNeely. It's a little high, but probably should have been caught. Instead, it's picked off by Matthew Anthony.
Well, I thought the projection was there. You know, Daniel's got to get that ball down.
So here we go again. Benedict trying to run the football, and Nick Floyd saying not a chance. He gets the tackle for loss for 5 yards.
Great job, Nick. You know, great job, D-line. Everybody's playing assignment football.
Benedict running its own 2-quarterback system. This time it's Phillip Brown, and he's trying to get away, but DeAndre McCurry, he beats Snead to the sack, gets his first of the game.
Yeah, great job. Like I said, protection, coverage downfield, and guys getting after the quarterback.
Brown again. This time it's going to be it's going to be Smiley and Nick Floyd with DeAndre McCurry coming across the top.
Oh, those guys trying to just have a good game, getting after that quarterback and establish a new line of scrimmage.
So now LeJean Cordier back in for the Golden Bears, and he's looking to throw. He probably shouldn't have thrown that one. That's picked off, this time by Robert Cummings.
Yeah, it's just forcing that in there. He just should have got rid of the football or took the sack.
Short field for Benedict. It's 3rd and 8, and Phoenix finds Raylan Elzy, picks up 13 yards.
Yeah, just play soft coverage, or those guys got to understand the down and distance and get up there and challenge that throw.
So now it's 3rd and 14, and it's Elzy again, this time on the short hitch, and now he's going to barrel through Jarius Grayson and Maxwell Wells. That's a 20-yard touchdown, and now it's 14-10.
Yeah, busted coverage, and the guys got to get that call.
Now Smith back in at quarterback. We're in the 4th quarter. He's going to scramble. It's 3rd and 10, and Cohen Hudson gets behind the defense. He goes for 46 yards. Looks like the turf monster got up and grabbed him, kept him from getting to the end zone.
Great job, Cohen. He's another receiver that's waited his turn and do the things we asked him to do.
Talk about waiting your turn. Paterius Martin had gotten his first start of his career at running back, and there he punches it in from 2 yards out. Miles now up 17-14.
Yeah, just doing your job, and when your number's called, just be ready.
It's going to be Benedict here again, and this time Greg Matthews gets in for the tackle for loss.
Yeah, just excited. D-line, those guys really established that new line of scrimmage.
Nick Floyd was a monster in the second half. This time he stays at home on the screen and gets another tackle for loss.
Yeah, Nick had a great game, but, just reading his keys and doing his assignment.
One more time for Nick Floyd as Phoenix finds the running back across the middle, and Floyd bangs him and forces the Tigers to punt.
Great job, just being where he's supposed to be and doing his job.
But Benedict still in this ball game. They're only down 3 points. And here it's going to be Raheem Jennings. Goes right up the middle on a big 40-yard run.
Yeah, that's the longest run they had, but, we got to just play assignment football. We missed the assignment, and that cost us.
Then it's 2nd and goal down by the goal line, the 3-yard line, a direct snap to Jaden McLeod. He picks up the 3-yard touchdown run, and with 3:57 left, Miles trails 21-17.
Yeah, it was a great job by them in direct snap, but, we got to keep playing a lot of football.
On the ensuing kickoff, this ball looks like it's going out of bounds, but Paterius Martin, he gets it, and he makes some hay. He gets up the sideline, 26 yards on the return.
Good job. Just got to keep finding no open window.
Miles in trouble here. It's 3rd and 17, but Daniel Smith finds McNeely right at the sticks, and they're going to give you a first down.
Great job. Great protection and great just catch by McNeely.
Here again, it's 3rd and 7. Look at Smith extend the play. He waits, he finds Leonard Tyree. He picks up 16 yards, and Miles is in business.
Yeah, just got to keep playing. Guys got to keep fighting, and, good things will happen.
On the next play, Cohen Hudson again. He gets down the middle. Turf Monster grabs him one more time, but it sets the Golden Bears up inside the 5-yard line.
Great job, Cohen. He works hard. Just wanted his opportunity.
And here we go. It's 2nd down and goal to go. Paterius Martin, you see the seal on the outside by Tinch, and Martin gets around the corner into the end zone. Touchdown with 19 seconds left, and it's going to help Miles to a 24-21 win.
Yeah, great job. Tinch, great block by Tinch, great block by the offensive line, but great job by Paterius getting in that end zone.
And, Coach, you decided to go with Paterius Martin instead of Wade Streeter here, and I know you like to go with what's happening in practice. What did Martin do in practice that said, hey, it's time to give him a shot?
Well, we just needed speed and quickness. Streeter has that capability. Martin's a little faster than Streeter, and those guys complement each other. Streeter had his tote and his carries, and Martin came in and did what he needed to do, but we needed someone to get on that edge pretty fast, and you saw Martin could do that, and just everybody complement each other. This program, they understand that, when it's your number, when it's your name called, just do your job, do your assignment.
And Martin is one of those guys, he was actually a receiver for you last year, and you moved him to the running back spot. What did you see that made you say, hey, this guy can handle the rock?
High school, he was an athlete in high school, played running back, played quarterback, played, wide receiver, so defensive back. So he just played all those positions. He's just an athlete, and he's fast, great returning guy. You see that, and he's got a lot of quickness and speed about himself.
Let's talk about that last drive a little bit as well. Daniel Smith, as you've known, we've gone up and down with him a little bit, but on that last drive, when you needed some plays to be made, he was able to make those throws. And talk about the plays, especially by Leonard Tyree and also Dominique McNeely.
Well, those guys, you see that, Dominique dropped that pass and gave up the interception. Then he dropped another big pass that could have gave us a first down, but then he come up and catch the big pass and set us up, and to get the next big completed pass with Tyree. But Daniel just, he never was down. He's always kept his head up, even in the change and, with us switching the guard with the quarterback situation. So, it's always the guy that's got the best hand or the hot hand or doing the things we asked to do in practice. Nobody's just penciled in as a starter. You have to work your tail off to be able to be the starter. And if you're not getting the job done, for me and being in my program, these guys understand that, I'm going to get the next guy ready to play.
So Miles gets the 24-21 win. They go to 5-1 on the season, 3-0 in Western Division play. Before we get to next week's game, let's talk a little bit about Nick Floyd. He was the SIAC Defensive Player of the Week. He had 10 tackles, 8 of them solos, 3 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks. Nick Floyd is a guy that you started last year. He's been coming off the bench this year. At times he has started. Talk about his play.
Same thing, a guy that understands that he has to come here ready to work. And Nick, he don't complain. He lost his starting job, but he still work as if he's a starter. He still pay attention, still work hard. And he has played some big ball games for us this year. And, he doesn't complain. The thing I like about this program, this team, these guys don't complain. They understand that you have to work. You got to come to work.
So now we move on to the next week, and it's going to be Edward Waters, the Ruffin Bowl. Ruffin Bowl 1, they're already promoting it down in Jacksonville. Your cousin Greg Ruffin is the head coach down there. They got their first win of the year last week, so you got your hands full again.
Well, he wants to make it a real Ruffin Bowl 1, but we played a good Edward Waters football team. I think their record does not indicate the capability. They got a good football team, and they played Morehouse real tough, and I think it was 26-21. They played some tough ball games, and we just got to get ourselves ready to play a good football team in hostile environment there in Jacksonville in Duval County. So our kids got to understand that this is another team that doesn't have the record, but their team doesn't reflect their record.
Well, it's going to be Edward Waters, the next opponent on the schedule for the Golden Bears. Kickoff time is at 5 p.m. Central Time on Saturday. If you can't make it down to the ball game, you'll be able to watch the game on this station, WOTM, next week. And you can also keep up with us here on In the Huddle with Coach Ruffin. We thank you for joining us. We hope to see you next week with the coach, Reginald Ruffin. I'm A.A. Moore. Thanks for joining us.